Hi, welcome to the Vaguely Anime Podcast and our potentially, hopefully, final COVID episode. And we'll all be in person after this one, maybe, possibly, maybe not.
Who knows?
Maybe not.
Not me.
Yeah, well, if we are in person in the next one, it'll be in the new set.
True.
Yeah.
That literally has to be factual, because if it's not in audio, we will be somewhere else.
Yeah, not to mention also our current set is mostly gone.
Yeah.
LOL.
I have to go get all that once I'm out of quarantine.
I do need you to come get a lot of shit. Also, a lot of shit that's not yours, so...
Yeah, anyway, I am Michael, joined by, of course, Colin.
As always.
And also Sage, not as always. You're not here
Most
every
of the
episode.
time. That's true.
I am.
It's only me and
I
Colin
won't
that
be.
have been as always.
Yeah, and you're going to get your wish, and you're going to be the one who doesn't miss an episode the longest, and eventually then you will miss an episode.
It's not even my wish. It's just that... Well,
It's your wish.
No, it's that I want both of us to continue.
I want
Mike
the audience
wants
to
the
know
subtle
behind the
flex.
scenes.
Also, you
Behind
can't...
the scenes, he cracks a whip and is like, I can't miss an episode.
Yeah, he whips himself.
He does. No, I don't want anybody to think that he hurts us. He does it to himself. He's a very masochistic man.
It's like the flagellants. He just whips himself.
But also, like, the new recording spot will be at my house, so you can't have one without me.
Nah, we'll just let Kieran let us in.
No. Fuck you.
Yes.
I just won't give him a key, and I'll chop off his hands. He can't open locks then.
He'll figure it out. He's got a mouth.
Anyway, we're going to be
Whole
talking...
new meaning to what that mouth do.
Oh, boy. Specifically open locks. We're going to be talking about comics and manga for today's episode, and maybe cultured manga and other things, but mostly regular manga and comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Specifically, we might talk about one cultured one that I shared amongst the group that I found the
That
other day.
I truly, like, Mike sent it to me, and I'm like, I messaged him back. I was like, how did you come across this? This seems like so weirdly specific and so not what literally anybody asked for.
Sometimes
you also don't like go on the internet in places that someone would share this. I feel like you stumbled across this.
No, it
on
has
that
to be
website.
one of those things where it's
Yeah.
like you get so deep into tags and then you just click on it, like, or you see the preview image and you click on it out of sheer curiosity, and then you're like, this is what my life has come to, and like I can't go back now.
Sometimes
Like,
you stare at the
I'm a
abyss,
scarred
and the
man.
abyss stares back.
Yeah.
Did you just see the ultra specific tag and say, well, I have to see what this is about?
All right, hold on. So do we want to get into this?
I think we should.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
all
well,
right.
now we are.
Okay, so I as one does late at night, sometimes you're perusing the cultured manga websites, and
Yeah, as one does.
as one does,
As a cultured man does.
and you know, was just scrolling through some of the latest releases or whatever, and was like, this one looks aight. Click on it, and then you're like, this one doesn't seem like to be one that I'm interested in at this moment. But you know, I like the art, so let me check the artist tag. You go to the artist tag, and you start just kind of looking through the other stuff there, and then all of a sudden, while you're scrolling, you just happen to see a giant red MAGA hat on top of an anime girl, and you're like, excuse me, I don't expect to see any of that here. So you click on it
This
out
is
of
a
sheer
safe space.
curiosity. Yeah. So you click on it out of sheer curiosity, and you realize you have stumbled upon the most cursed and hilarious shit on the planet, and you immediately send it to the other friend that you know would appreciate it.
It's just so out of left field. So
Yeah.
like it's like the absolute worst crossover, in my humble yet correct.
Yeah, no, you're humble, you're correct. It's one of those things where I see it and I'm like, I do just expect shit posts about presidents to be like this. I just expect it at a certain point, but when you first see something like that of that level, it's just like, oh, I did not expect to see this here. I really didn't expect this to be a thing, but yeah, of course it's a thing.
Right. Yeah. It's in no political leanings, it's just a fucking ride to read, and like.
What I love is they put in the effort to change the dialogue.
Uh-huh. They did. They sure did.
They sure did. Hey, make my pussy great again.
No, I need to leave. The fact that, like, at some point, Trump is like, Ted, save me, and the girl is like, Ted Cruz can't save you.
I didn't see that.
Yeah. Dude, I told you it's
Ted
a
Cruz
fucking
can't save
gold.
you. Ted can't save you. He's off in Mexico.
And then at some point they like bring up Bernie Sanders for some reason, being like, "Oh yeah, Bernie Sanders, he's a pussy."
It's the girl. She was like, at least it was like, you know, he may be a pussy or something, but I'd rather take him than you or something like that. It's a fucking ride, man.
I also, the amount of like reaction faces that they have, that they like hard pasted on top of Trump's face.
Yeah, this is also like very poorly photoshopping, just taking out like a cropping a picture of Trump's face and putting it over whoever the male was in this story.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
what
I just realized?
What?
On almost every page, they changed this girl's hat.
Do they really?
Yeah, so it's Make America Great Again. There's one that's like a Trump hat, which is just his name.
Okay.
Hold on, there was another one I saw.
I bet it's just because they needed the different angles and were just searching for PNGs.
That's entirely likely.
Hold on, I keep getting fucking pop-up ads.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
me
for
too.
for anybody that is curious enough to read this masterpiece, really.
Wait. There's
It's
another one.
Don't worry, it won't be hard to find.
Yeah, it won't be
Wait.
hard to find, but the numbers are 1689141.
Wait, there's another hat that says Make Your Butt Great Again. And then there's another one that says Make Texas Country Again.
All right.
And then there's the Make Your Butt Great Again, which I think is the funniest one. But yeah, so there's like 6 different variety of hats that you can choose through.
It really is funny because I'm scrolling through it right now, and it is very obviously like they just needed the different angles because there's so many fucking angles.
Yeah. I also very much, like, I think in some of them where it's like close-up shots, they don't even like take the time to put Trump in the frame. So they just leave the original artwork there.
Yeah. It's just like the hat and like the bumper sticker on her ass is what is meant to be there. Yeah, but if you're having trouble finding it, even though Mike gave you the numbers, just look for characters Donald Trump. Apparently there's 5 different stories.
Oh boy.
I also like that they put the Trump bumper sticker on his dick.
Yeah, they sure did.
I don't think I noticed that.
They
Yeah.
sure did.
It's really a choice.
Dude, it
Yeah.
starts off at fucking 100% in the first fucking page.
Absolutely.
This is the kind of shit posting I honestly can't discourage because it's so out there and so stupid that it really does bring the name shitpost a lot of credit.
This shitpost is somehow like way too much effort and yet no effort at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
That's
think
what a shitpost should be.
But it's like the perfect balance
Yeah.
of the two.
So, anyway, I saw that, was like, I sent it to Sage almost immediately. I was like, I need to send this to somebody. And most of the time when I send Colin, like, peak actual good art, he gets mad at me for sending it to him, so I didn't send it to him. And then I was talking to him today and sent it to him.
Come on, man. We were raised Catholic. You have to be ashamed of that shit.
Nah.
Also, I just went to go look at the comments on it, and there's literally comments from not even 2 weeks ago.
Hell yeah. I mean, dude, I literally discovered it yesterday, so... yeah, you know...
Wait,
What?
sorry, one of the comments is, fuck NTR and shit, this is the way.
Oh my god.
Ah!
Oh boy.
I didn't need this. I didn't need this in my life. I could have lived such a better life.
See, you say that, but I saw it and was like, someone else needs to suffer with me.
Yeah, Mike, the way he brought it up was like, I found something incredibly cursed. Can I show you? Are you okay with me sending it to you? And I was just like very on the edge, like teetering between yes and no. And then I was like, you know what? Can't be worse than anything else I've seen. I'll say yes.
Can't be worse than anything I tell you when I find weird shit.
True.
Yeah, I
True.
explicitly in that message was like, "Do I have your permission to send this?" And you
Yeah.
and you were like, "Yes." And I was like, "Okay, you can't back out now."
Yeah.
To be fair, when you said that, I was happy. I was like, I'm happy I'm not the only person who sees something kind of weird and fucked up while perusing and goes, all right, what are you about? Let me look at this.
Oh, come on. You
No,
can't
that's-
see that red hat
that's-
and not be like, I need to know.
That's how I get, I think, to like the more weird, either like cultured manga or cultured anime, but then I don't share it with other people because I just am like, so usually if it gets to that level, I get so like uncomfortable and freaked out that I'm like, just ruined my whole night for myself. I need to go.
See, I don't think I've ever gotten anything like that intense because I'll usually just turn it off and be like, nah, not for me.
Yeah, like if it, because you get to a point when you see enough of those tags too, and you're just like, I don't even need to look into it. Sometimes there are very, very few times when I'll see certain tags that I almost am always immediately click off of, and like I'll see the tag and for whatever reason be like, but the cover didn't look super bad, and I'll scroll down just to skim it real quick and be like, oh, nope, there's the scene that I'm not looking for, and then I'll X out. It depends how it goes.
Is it bad that I almost never read tags?
It's a good way to find out if you're gonna immediately not like something because I mean, sometimes I skip tags and then I get like 10 pages into something and I'm like, oh no,
Hey man,
not
if
this.
NTR
not
or
that.
Ugly Bastard are in there, I'm out. I'm out immediately.
I think the only time I ever like truly look through tags is if it's a fanfic, because sometimes people put like an entire, I'm telling you, a wall of tags that is longer than the fic itself, and I'm like, all right, so I'm not gonna read this because it's not worth it. You have every character and their goddamn mom in this, and I cannot be bothered.
And some of the moms they created.
Absolutely.
Um.
Like, it's just too much.
Anyway,
It's
shall we
unnecessary.
transfer from
Anyways.
cultured to regular?
Yeah.
What, we're not having like the porn talk part 3?
I mean, we can.
Wasn't the plan.
Depends how
But
we
when
want to
do
go
we-
about this.
When do
No,
we ever
we still-
truly stick on
look,
plan?
We can't have the next, hentai episode until we actually sit down together and watch Pussy Power Rangers 4 or whatever the fuck it is that I bought.
Do you still have that?
Absolutely. It
Aw.
is.
Yeah, dude, we'll watch it one day.
Yeah, we gotta watch it for content's sake.
Yeah, specifically for
content's
content's sake.
That's why I bought it, for content's sake.
I just opened my Shonen Jump app and I just saw that One Piece is at 1,300 chapters. 1,035.
1035. Yes, it is.
Sorry.
It was a very good chapter, too.
And
It was a really good chapter. One Piece is damn fucking good.
yeah. Also, I don't know why, but you know how like Shonen Jump, it will give you like, oh, latest chapters updated, and then continue reading, and then like other suggested stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so in my continued reading is Prince of Tennis. I
Okay.
have no recollection of ever opening this. I have not thought about Prince of Tennis since I was like maybe 9, and it was on
And it
Toonami.
aired on Toonami.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just so confused as to where this came from. Like, did me in a coma like state was just like, must view Prince of Tennis content.
That's entirely possible. You just clicked it once and it stayed there. Because you have to, like, go to a whole other page to get it out of that section.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I never take anything away because it's too much work. So even if I've like dropped something, it just stays there forever.
Yeah, I was getting annoyed by something that was still in there, so I got rid of it. Speaking of, like, There's a couple of new ones in Shonen Jump that I've been reading that are like literally 6 chapters in, I think.
Oh, really? Like what?
Okay, so Doron
Okay.
is 4 chapters in, and what's this other one? It is Ayashimon, which is 6 chapters in. And these two are new, and they're kind of bothering me because I kind of like them and I kind of don't like them both for different reasons. And they're so heavily influenced by like Demon Slayer or Bleach or whatever the fuck kind of vibe that it's uncanny.
Okay.
And okay, so let me tell you why I'm annoyed. Doron has such a generic concept. It is such a basic generic concept that has been done a million times, like Bleach, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Demon Slayer, of being, oh, here's the corpse of samurai that fight demons. But the writing's pretty good and the art's pretty dope.
Right.
I'm interested in continuing, even though it's like, okay, I've seen this before. Ayashimon
Right.
is like a newer concept to that, of being like, oh, this is the demon world is the Yakuza, and they're controlling the underground for the human world, and here's a human that's going to go join the demon Yakuza because he just really likes to fight.
Okay.
But it's not super well written, but it's got a better concept.
Okay, so, but maybe do you think it's going to be one of those things that kind of like get better over time, so it's worth it for the good concept? Or do you think it's like so mid that it'll stay mid? You know what I mean?
It's just doing way too much like referencing other stuff. It's like the main character is a manga fan and is like hardcore weeb and is just referencing shit nonstop. So it's like, this is getting a little cringe, but everything
so
around
it's
it's
like
really
Jughead
interesting.
from Riverdale, where he just makes completely nonsensical references to like movies.
Or me in real life, but yes.
Yeah.
But
But when you do it, it makes slightly more sense than Jughead, who
slightly more.
says things and you're like, that had literally nothing to do with the context of this scene, my dude.
Yeah, dude, fuck Riverdale. You want some good, interesting adult Archie comic stuff? Go read Jughead the Hunger. That's a good comic series. It's about Jughead being a werewolf and trying to control it and not eat people.
I feel like the Archie comic series, or just Archie, like that property, has so many directions.
If somebody's like, hey, I want to do an Archie series about, and they just stop them right there and they say, I don't care. Yes, do it. Give me 5%.
I mean, yeah, once something's been around for that long, why not? You know, whatever. You're still around.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing really to lose.
Yeah, like you walk away with random shit, and you're like, and some dude wants to make Jughead a fucking werewolf or whatever, and then you're like, that seems stupid, but go for it. And then it turns out to be a good story.
It is a good story.
It kind of makes me think of how like The Simpsons is still going, even though people are like, The Simpsons now sucks, but people still watch it.
The Simpsons has sucked for almost 20 years.
Oh yeah, no, The Simpsons has been not great for a long time.
Season 8
but...
is what usually people say?
Season 8 was the last good season. Season 8
I thought
or
it was
season
9 was the last, like...
It was either season 9 was the last good one, or season 9 was when it started to suck. I don't remember.
The only Simpsons content I have actually watched or consumed was the Simpsons movie with Green Day.
It's a good movie.
That is a good movie. But I know I think it was either 8 or 9, like Colin is saying, that after that season, a lot of the original writers left the show.
Yeah.
And that's why it started like really dropping in quality over time.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I have a lot of those on DVD actually. Kind of useless now. I don't know if I should just throw them away or what.
You don't have a DVD player?
I do, but like I can just go stream it.
Okay.
Yeah, but aren't you Mr. I like physical copies?
Yeah. I just don't care about DVDs anymore.
Colin,
unless it's something I really care about.
I don't even have my VHS player anymore, but when I moved, I specifically took my VHS tape of 3 episodes of Gundam Wing with me.
Okay, but that one has very important significance to you.
That's true.
These seasons of The Simpsons I just bought off eBay when I was a kid because I wanted to watch The Simpsons.
I also took your
And that was how you had to do it.
I also took your paperweight of Evangelion, the 3 episodes you gave me for Christmas, on VHS.
Oh yeah, well that was a gift, and I'm very happy that you still have it. I saw that and I thought of you.
Yeah, you wanted me to suffer.
When it's only 3 episodes.
Yeah, because it's a
No, I
VHS
know.
tape. They can only hold so much content.
The only like manga right now that I am reading week to week is My Hero Vigilantes, and One Punch Man.
Is Vigilantes good?
Oh, dude, it's fucking great, dude.
Yeah.
And it's wrapping
Very
up.
good.
It's about to be over.
Is
it's the
it
perfect time to read it.
Is it just like a spin-off?
It's a
of My
prequel
Hero?
technically,
Yeah.
but like it has nothing to do with
it's a
it
spin-off.
has nothing to do with the show really. So yeah, spin off.
It has enough to do of like it's in the world. You do have certain characters that show up, like Aizawa does actually show up a fair amount at a certain point in the story, which is nice. It's before he became a teacher as well.
Oh, cool. Does he look
So-
less
No.
tired?
No,
There's only
Still,
there's only
same
one
guy.
bad thing about Vigilantes, I will say, and it's that the artist
no,
cannot draw All Might.
no, I have.
Oh,
other
is it a
complaints about
different
it.
Yeah,
artist?
it's a different guy.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's a different manga. Yeah, the manga is he's just doing the spin-off, so he I guess follows a certain rules that Horikoshi set out for him. I will say another thing that he does not do nearly as well as Horikoshi is the world is very generic. If you have a quirk, it is either not at all visibly apparent, such as opposed to in My Hero Academia, so many people have different quirks that are like visual things,
Right.
Unless it's just like a gigantification quirk where you're just like a giant monster. But most people
so
are
it's
just
just
normal people.
It's just less like diverse in its look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going from OG Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z. It's just it becomes more generic looking.
But like
But I feel like for
I can't
a
really- I
spin-off,
can't fault
like,
him,
you can't
though.
really fault him.
yeah,
I
no, the
think.
story is
No,
great,
it's-
and like I said, really the only thing, at least for me, is just like the only thing I've really realized is that the man can't draw All Might. It looks so bad every time All Might comes
looks a
on.
little awkward.
Can you send me a picture? I want to see what it looks like.
Yeah, it
Like his version of
it's
All
just
Might.
like, I mean, to be fair,
All
I
Might.
feel like All Might is not the easiest character to draw because he's the whole no eyes and everything.
Right.
It's so like
Wait,
it
have you seen that meme of like this is peak character design and it's like the extremely thick eyebrows, no eyes, and then just extremely thick mustache as the whole face?
I don't think so. I've seen that. No.
Okay, I have to send it to you because I don't know why. When you just said no eyes for All Might, that's all I thought of, and it's one of my favorite memes.
Yeah. Other than that, though, the story is really good. I would highly recommend reading Vigilantes. It's about 100 chapters now, I think.
it's Vigilantes is currently at 116. And
Okay.
it is about to be over. It's been in
Yeah,
the
so
last arc
it's-
for a little bit now.
It's definitely worth reading if you like My Hero Academia. You want a little more, and that little prequel gives you a nice look on some characters. Also, there was a whole really, really well done part of an arc that was referenced in the My Hero Academia TV show that never really gets the full spotlight, but it goes into the whole story in the Vigilantes manga that I think is fantastic, involving. I don't want to say.
A lot of
'cause
people
spoilers.
were kind of bummed when they put it into the new season because
it most likely means no.
yeah, it basically
anime.
means that Vigilantes probably won't get an anime.
I think it deserves an anime adaptation. I think it could be a good 2-season.
I
anime.
agree. I think it's great, dude. I really like Vigilantes, and this last arc is proving to be pretty incredible, honestly. And I want to talk about it, but you and Eamon are behind on it, and nobody else I know reads it.
I'm not that. I'm only like 2 chapters
Oh,
behind.
then we
on
need to
it.
talk about it more. I thought you were more
yeah,
behind
I
than
do
you
love
were,
theirs.
than you were.
Oh, So
No, I think I'm like 3 chapters behind. Let me.
I just looked at this
I'm 3 chapters
Vigilante's
behind.
version of All Might, and I think what's truly like what makes it feel off is the proportions of the face. Like his eyes, eyebrows, nose, and smile, like the center of his face, are too small. So his chin looks fucking enormous. He looks like the goddamn Crimson Chin from Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
But in like regular My Hero Academia, like his face is really well balanced, where like all his features take up his whole face, especially when he smiles like that.
Right. Yeah. No. Like I said,
Yeah.
I think that like he just. To be fair, I don't really understand art all that well, but I from what I understand, I would think All Might is slightly kind of a difficult character to draw, just from the lack of eyes in itself.
I don't really think the eyes have anything to do with how him being drawn could be hard. Hold on, please hold, please.
I don't know. I like I said, I understand nothing about art, but like I would just assume that not having the eyes to base, like to help situate the face, would be difficult.
Okay, I figured out what it is.
Okay, let me know.
So with All Might's facial features, especially like big beefy All Might, a lot of his, I guess, like presence or like the feeling that you get from it is from the like extremely deep shadows that are cast on his face.
Right.
And the placement of them has to be right in that, one, they have to make sense, but also they make up all of his features. It's not just line work that make up the features, if that makes sense. So, especially in the first photo that Colin sent, I don't know if you guys can put it on screen so people can see.
Yeah, I can put it up.
Especially in that first photo, not only do the shadows on his face make sense, but all the features on his face are made up of line work, which is a completely different vibe than what the original design is, where all of the wrinkles or like his cheekbones or his jawline is made up of shadows. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Sorry, I tried to explain that in the most simple way.
Well, if it helps, I'm definitely dumber than simple, so.
I don't think that helps. I think that just hurts.
Exactly.
You.
So anyway, yeah, I think Vigilantes is great. And Pop is best girl in that specific run. In that specific spinoff.
There's not too much. There's not too
There
much.
isn't, but there is the manager.
There's also the girl who her quirk is she can tell if you're lying by holding your hand.
Yeah, the
which
manager.
I think I think that would have me high stress all the time.
You know what that makes me think of?
What?
Okay, Mike, please don't be upset with me when I say this. But in Twilight.
In Twilight, I'm here. Go ahead.
One of the vampires of like essentially the vampire mob.
Yeah, the lead, was it the leader guy?
Yeah, the leader guy.
Yeah.
If he holds your hands, he can like read every thought and experience every experience you ever
Wait,
had.
wasn't
He gets all of your memories by touching.
that the
by
person
touching
that
you.
then like made everyone think they fought a giant battle and then they didn't?
No, that was Alice.
No.
Which in the book that doesn't happen. That's only in the movie. Which was a good call considering in the book they just have a conversation, which would be extremely boring to watch.
Oh my god, that was so stupid. Because in the book, they gather their army, and it's like, they're coming for us. The vampire mob's coming, and they're like, we gotta gather our army. This person's power is this. This person's the goddamn avatar. We're set. We're ready to go. And they're all they're squaring up. They're like, come at me, bro. Come on. I didn't do anything. I didn't break the rules. My baby's okay. And then they don't fight, and they all go home.
Yeah, it's like
Because the Twilight books. I'm sorry, let me just say this
sorry.
one thing. The Twilight books do this great thing where there's nothing going on through the entire story. Then you get to the end of the book, and it looks like there's going to be a conflict, and then nothing happens, and you're done, and you go to the next one.
You get like 400 pages into the book, and then the plot starts, and then the climax happens about 30 pages after the plot started, and then the book ends.
Why read it?
It's ridiculous.
I read all 4 of those.
Me too.
I read all 4 of those.
And what's funny though, so they obviously put in the fight scene because not only would be extremely anticlimactic and boring to watch them just have a convo at the end of like the 5th movie, but it's very
the 5th movie because they made it a 2-parter.
Right, but it's also very evident that like Stephanie Myers has no idea how to write a fight, because in Eclipse, which is the 3rd book and the 3rd movie, where they show flashes of like the Cullen family and the werewolves fighting the newborn army. Yeah, you don't get that in the book either because it's all Bella's perspective. So you just have her in the mountains in this stupid fucking tent.
Oh yeah, she's just like, I'm hiding from the war, and then they get a call. It's like, war's over, and they go over and they're like, oh yeah, war's over. There's the bodies over there. There's the one survivor over there that we let live, and oh, she just got executed. Okay, we're done. Bye. Next book.
Why do people read these?
Yeah.
Also,
horny vampire, werewolf, girls, boys.
Why? I think that it is such a dumb trend, by the way, to split the last part of the movies into a fucking two-parter.
It's a 2-part. It made sense for Harry Potter. That was like the only movie that followed the book enough that I wasn't pissed off watching it. Because I was like, oh, you took all of the important plot points and you got it in. That's why the 2-parter worked. But then Hollywood was like, oh, we can make twice the fucking money by just splitting the final of these young adult novels.
Like Hunger Games does it, which is completely unwarranted because if I remember correctly, all 3 books are like maybe
300 to 400 pages max.
Maybe 300 to 400 pages. And I see, because in the first Hunger Games movie and the second Hunger Games movie, they basically did a perfectly good job encapsulating the look and feel and tone and important plot beats within, let's say, what was it, like maybe 2 hours each movie?
Yeah, with about the 2 hours, it adapted it just as much as you would want an adaptation to do of, as you said, hitting those plot beats.
But then they decided to split book 3, which is Mockingjay, for absolutely no reason, because Mockingjay as a book is only 400 pages, and part 1, literally nothing happens. It's so dragged out. Like, they could have put part 1, all the important things that happen in part 1, in the first, I would say, 25 minutes of part 2, and you would have the exact same
I only saw the first.
Yeah, you could just made like a 2.5 hour movie.
I only saw the first Hunger Games movie, and it was because I was made to, because our school, our teacher was like, hey, we're going to watch the Hunger Games first movie and then compare it to the book. That's going to be our little project for the next like week or 2.
I think the first movie is actually really good.
I didn't dislike
fantastic.
it, but I had zero drive to go watch the others.
I think it's the best of the movies, but Catching Fire is the best of the books.
I'd agree with that. I read all the books and then I saw the first 2 movies. I didn't see Mockingjay at all. Like, I'd just fallen off of it, and I'm not upset about it now.
If you read all 3 books, you don't need to watch Mockingjay Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, no, I read the books. They were good
But yeah,
books. That was
Hollywood split so many movies into 2-parters that just did not need to. Didn't Divergence also get that, and then also Maze Runner?
Because they can make twice the money.
No, Divergence.
They can just keep making
Divergence
money.
didn't get that. Divergence had a full theatrical release for the first film. Now, I don't know why, but when it came to Insurgents and Allegiance, I think is the 3rd one, they were both, they didn't get split up into 2, the last one, but they both, I I think like straight to DVD releases.
Wow.
I don't know.
That
I didn't
sucks.
care about those
What-
movies at all. I didn't even watch them.
But it's weird because in Insurgents, which is the second one, they have some like really A-lister actors in it for a straight to DVD release.
I
if
don't.
that makes
I don't
sense.
think the Divergence movies went straight to DVD. I'm pretty sure they had theatrical releases. Nobody saw them though.
No, only Divergence had the theatrical release. I remember this because I remember reading only Divergence, then I watched the first movie, and I was really excited for the sequels because then I was gonna read the next books. But then I just never heard anything about the sequels coming out in theaters, or if they did come out in theaters, it was like absolutely zero.
Yeah, no, they
promotion
definitely
for them.
did. They have box office ratings.
Come out
Yeah,
in theaters.
they came out.
What was it, like a super limited run in
What was-
select
what was-
theaters?
What is this Divergence? Is
Yeah,
it just called Divergence?
the
Yeah.
Divergence series Insurgent and Allegiant or whatever. Yeah,
Allegiant.
Which one are we talking
all
about?
of
The
them.
third one?
The second one and the
they have
third
box office releases. If you're straight to DVD, I don't think you get box office numbers.
I did not. I really did not know that.
I'm trying to.
Hold on.
All right, I got it. Okay, so Divergent was 288 million worldwide. The sequel was 297 million worldwide, and then the third one was 179 million worldwide. So that was a pretty significant drop. That was almost half.
Yeah,
I
they
literally,
definitely
I literally
came
had
out.
no
They
idea.
definitely came out. I was like, I
literally had.
was like,
no
I
idea.
know, because I saw trailers for those.
You know why I had no idea? Because when I first watched the first one, like, it was like kind of a thing on like Tumblr and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is cool, you know. And so I was expecting a lot of hype for the second movie, and it was like radio silence.
Well, same with like Maze
Yeah,
Runner.
I mean, I'm actually looking at this. I'm looking at this right now, actually. Okay, so I'm going to put this into two perspectives. I'm going to start with this. First off, the North American box office for the first, second, and third is 150 million, 130 million, 66 million.
Oof.
And the budget for the third one was 142 million, and it netted 179 million.
Oof.
Yeah.
So at least it wasn't as bad as Cats, but like still, that's not what you want.
Yeah, but can you really be like, who is truly as catastrophic?
Yeah, nothing is
As
as
Cats,
worse
yeah.
bad as Cats. I can't believe we went and saw that. But also, by the way, I
can.
believe we saw it, but I wish we didn't. Also, same with like Maze Runner, right? Like everybody fucking talked about that first movie, and then those other two movies, I feel like nobody really talked about. I'm looking at their box office numbers though.
Don't remember the other
Apparently, they
ones.
did really well in the box office. So,
Maybe it was overseas.
I'm just looking at the specific numbers. Not.
Oh, it doesn't give like a.
I mean,
breakdown?
if I actually pulled it up, I'm sure it would. I'm just looking at it on
Oh, you're looking at like
Yeah.
a Google.
because I didn't feel like getting super into it those. But yeah, like I don't know, all those movies I didn't give a shit about at all. Like I didn't care for.
That's super fair. You know what was a true tragedy? Did
What?
either of you watch Percy
Nope.
Jackson? Or
No,
read the
I didn't read
books?
those. I didn't read those either. Like I heard they were pretty good, and then the movies. Like I did the first one, like was good, and then every other one sucked. Was that what it was?
Okay, so the first one, because in the book, Percy and his friends are like, what, 12, 13 years old? Like, pretty young? Like, middle school?
As you do. I mean, that's the same thing with like Hunger Games. Was they were supposed to be 13, 14 years old, but then they cast, what's her name?
Jennifer
Who
Lawrence.
was like Jennifer Lawrence, who was like 17, 18 at the time. So I do remember there was a really good Tumblr post because it was the time of somebody put up her and her co-star a picture of them at 13, 14 years old, and it was like, this is what they should have looked at. And people were like, oh, they're babies. It's like, yeah, that's the point of the fucking books.
Yeah. But so for Percy Jackson, I think they bumped them up to like 16, everybody. 16, 17, about there. But personally, I think the first movie was okay. It kind of strays from the book, like, but it's still entertaining, you know, if you kind of like put the details aside, it's still an entertaining watch. And then they did the second one, which, what is it called? Like Caspian Sea or Prince something. It was,
Prince Caspian. That's Narnia.
oh, sorry. Whatever the second one is, it was unbelievably bad. Like, even as a movie, it is rough to look at. It's rough to watch. Because in the first one, like, I would say this movie came out, I think. Oh, hold on. This movie, I'm almost sure, came out in 2010. Let me look that up.
It was probably around that time that movie
Because
came out.
I am pretty sure I saw that movie for my 13th birthday. Oh, also the second one is Sea of Monsters. But yeah, so the first one came out 2010.
Hey.
And for 2010, it looks still, like, the effects still hold up. It still looks pretty solid. Which is funny because the second one, Sea of Monsters, can't say the same. Like, one of the characters is Cyclops. He looks terrible the whole movie.
The most,
and then they get lazy and with magic give him 2 eyes because they don't want to have to use all this budget to give him 1.
I mean, that's so common to just be like, all right, how do we lazy write our way out of this thing because of budget? And it's like, I understand why you're doing this. It must cost a lot to do it.
Which is funny because it doesn't even look good.
Just do something else. Just like have him wear a helmet or like wear some glasses or some shit.
Like,
the most I've ever interacted with Percy Jackson on any level was watching 2 3-minute long videos on TikTok of this person explaining with a PowerPoint chart exactly beat for beat how Percy Jackson and Jason Todd are the same character.
Yeah, you would watch that.
Well, because I know nothing about Percy Jackson, but this person's first like 30 seconds was just such a strong rant about how this was a factual statement that I was like, all right, I'll.
You know what? You sucked
I was
me
like,
in.
I don't even know this character, but I'm interested.
You've piqued my interest, all right.
That's incredible.
and you know, again, don't know anything about the character, but all the points they made, I was like, you know what? I see it. I believe it. They are the same character.
I am picking up what you are putting down.
Oh my god, what other young adult novels was there? Like I was a big Harry Potter kid. Like I read those. I think I read those like 4 or 5 times each.
I don't read, so I guess the only thing I could say would be the Alex Rider series. I read the first one and half of the second.
Oh,
yeah, those had
wait,
like 2-page chapters.
What was that series? I Am Number 4.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I didn't read that, but I remember that. That had a movie too.
It sure did, and they like did a sequel bait, and then I'm pretty sure a sequel never came out.
There were so many movies that came out like that had like the biggest sequel baits and then never got their sequels.
Which I always find very funny, but low-key kind of upsetting because sometimes I just want to see, just, you know, out of curiosity's sake.
I do that sometimes with like shows I used to watch as a kid, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? That was why I started watching Zatch Bell.
Like, there was a show on ABC Family when it was still ABC Family that
This freeform bullshit.
Yeah, not this freeform bullshit, but I remember it was on when I was like maybe early high school, called Jane by Design, and I thought this show was like top tier, excellent, one of the best like teen dramas, you know, but also had like, you know, its own kind of gimmick, and it was so good, and I was devastated when no season 2 came out because I was like, are you guys kidding me?
Look, do you know how devastated I still am that Symbionic Titan did not get a second season? Gendy Tarkovsky was robbed.
Symbiotic Titan is the fucking best. By the way,
Symbionic Titan is such a
Alex
goddamn
Rider
good show, and it
still
was
going.
robbed.
Yeah,
What?
I just pulled it up. The last book came out 2 years ago, 2020.
So nobody who initially was reading that book when it came out is still reading that
Yeah,
book.
well, hey, first of all, by the way, the 2 books that I read were 240 and 288 pages. Excuse you.
Yeah, and I have seen the pages. They are very small. The chapters are 2 to 3 pages, and the text is very large. It is.
I mean,
something-
literally have no recollection of what those pages
Large
look like.
print
So
text.
It had the extra large text and 3-page chapters because Eamon read them and he showed me.
So you guys want to hear something funny?
sure.
At the library,
Yes.
you can get like large print text
Uh-huh.
books, or you can get the regular print book.
Mm-hmm.
But the large print book has its own section for all the books that they have that are specifically in large print. So they won't put it like with all the other copies of the regular book and just be like, oh, this one's the large print one. And one time, I didn't realize this, and I was just like looking through the shelves for a book, and I found one that I was like, oh, this is one I was looking for, but I didn't realize it was part of the large print section. And I opened it up, and I was like, why is this text screaming at me? It's humongous. There was like 5 words on each page. It was ridiculous.
I love
That's
when
hilarious.
books yell at me because they do it all the time. I open them up and they yell at me. That's why I'm scared of them.
You are afraid of the written word, unless
Yeah,
there's
I'll read
pictures.
comics and manga all day, every day. But boy, you put a fucking book in front of me, and you might as well torture me.
How did
You've been
you
reading it- you've been
graduate
reading any
high
manga?
school?
High school, I didn't read.
Don't even ask him how he got through college. It's an infuriating story, and, we don't
And
need to
besides,
get
by the
into
way,
it.
if for high school, when you have to read stuff like fucking Huckleberry Finn, it's pretty obvious how to answer those test questions. They're all fucking simple answers. If you have any
not really.
kind of like deductive reasoning, you can figure them out.
I think you had shitty teachers because I'd read those books all the time. I was really good at English, and if I didn't read my chapter, I didn't know how to answer those questions. I would try bullshitting
Yeah,
my
I
way through
was-
it, and they'd
I
give,
was in
and they'd be like,
honors
"You
English.
tried. I'll give you 30%."
I was in honors English, I think, freshman and sophomore year. If you didn't read what they assigned, you literally had no way, even with context clues, to answer those questions, especially because the teachers I had would ask such
Specific.
minuscule, specific, unimportant, detailed questions
Because they knew that
to
that's how
make
they
sure
get you.
you read the stupid fucking chapter or book, and it was infuriating.
So
Oh, yeah.
so
Because you missed reading your chapter like one time. Because I always
One
read.
time.
Because I liked English. You miss one time, you're like, I can bullshit my way through this. I know what's
Absolutely
going on in
not.
this story. Absolutely fucking not. What was he doing while he was eating dinner and drinking a pie? And it's like, what the fuck do you mean by that?
He was jerking it.
He was jerking it. It turns out he was jerking
okay,
it was
so
the answer.
I like to think I'm pretty good at fucking educated guessing.
Fake it till you make it.
But also, like, what I would do is I would open the book right before the class and just quick skim each page and then be like, all right, cool, got it. And then I would take the test and be like, oh, there's that, and then I'd fucking be done.
Okay, so I had a roommate in college. We had the same class together for 2 semesters, and she would never do the readings for this class. But I would I would bring up a conversation with her and be like, "Oh, what did you think about this reading?" And she would say something very vague. So I would go into it in detail, being like, I thought this point was really interesting, blah, 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 all this stuff. We would get to class. I'm not even shitting you. This bitch, she would steal my answers. The teacher would ask a question, and then she'd be like, I thought this way, X, Y, and Z. I'm like,
Hell yeah, dude.
that's what I told you this
What a
morning.
smart person, working smarter, not harder.
I was furious.
Oh, that's the
Yeah, it was
fucking best,
terrible.
dude. But I'm not gonna incriminate myself. So anyway, any new manga I'm reading, I'm not really reading any new manga. If anything, I'm going back to some older ones.
I mean, that's what I meant too. I'm not reading something new. I'm
Yeah,
reading
I mean,
something
I've
old.
talked about how much I fucking will praise One Punch Man's manga and that everybody should be reading it. My Hero is also fucking great, but I've been slowly, just because I I haven't had as much time, and if I'm usually reading, I'll start reading comics that I've been trying to like read. But I've been slowly going through Rosario Vampire. I want to reread Negima because I haven't read it since middle school, and then like plus the because I caught up to Negima when it was still releasing, but it was like the last like 4 or last 3 chapters or last 3 issues, I mean. So I had to wait for issue like 33, 34, 35, and 36. Yeah, volumes.
Okay, so yeah, because that's like 40 chapters.
Or no, so then I might have only caught up at the last 2 because I don't remember having to wait super long. And so like I remember catching up to those, and so I haven't read Negima since 36 released, which, boy, I don't even know when the hell that is. I'll look that up real quick. But
I was gonna say, I feel like that was probably a while ago at this point.
Negima.
Probably. That makes me think of like Ajin. I had been reading. I read a long time ago, and I caught up, and I was like, well, it's not done. Time to suffer. And I never.
Did you watch the anime?
I watched 1 episode of it. Really didn't like the animation, and turned it off, and then read the manga.
I was gonna say, if you read the manga, I guess you don't need to watch it. But I only watched it, and honestly, once you get past the animation, which most of the time it actually doesn't even look that bad, I thought it was good. Personally.
Yeah, I don't know, because usually CG animation doesn't bother me. I don't know why it really bothered me that time, but that was a long time ago. I really couldn't tell you anyways. And I just started reading the manga, and I really liked it, so I stuck with it. But then it was like around chapter 60 that it had stopped, and I was like, oh, I'll come back and finish this when it's done. And I totally forgot about it for literally years.
And then you were never mind.
No, I think I'm going to go read it from the beginning again and just go through, because I think it's like only a total of like 80 to 90 chapters. And I just in the last week and a half got through 250 chapters of Bleach, which I'm reading right now. But when I got to the Soul Society arc, I flew through that. I was reading like 10 chapters at a time. It was so good. And then it got to the beginning of the Arrancar arc, and I was like, oh, I see why people say this isn't good. But I'm past that point
because you read through the Soul Society arc and you're like, wow, this is incredible. This is what shonen should be. And then it just falls off.
It falls off, and suddenly everybody's weak as shit and has to get strong again. And it's like, okay,
it's so stupid. I'm like, why did we go through all of this for everyone to like hone their craft and train and do the stuff they need to do, and then you get to the next arc and it's like, oh, it's a reset. Everyone sucks again.
The only person who gets an excuse is Ichigo, because he's battling his inner hollow and has to get his spiritual energy back into his control. And I'm like, okay, I like this plot point. That's a fine plot point. This works. But it also is just it's a very slow intro. It could have been done a lot. It could have been handled a lot quicker and better. But now that we're in the gist of it, in the real shit, it's been pretty enjoyable again. I like the Arrancar as enemies.
Right.
So
I always thought they were cool as enemies. I really like their designs.
Very good design, very good lore wise coming from. Good
shtick, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good shtick. It's the Hollows that became more like Soul Reapers, and then you have the Soul Reapers that became more like Hollows, and then you have the Soul Reapers, and it's like, okay, cool, we have a bunch of different people fighting, none of them like each other.
Yeah,
let's start mashing them together.
But it's also nice because it's really this gray area that they create, with
mm-hmm. With the Wizards is what they're called.
Good shtick.
I also want to say that the Soul Reapers that became hollified or whatever that are training Ichigo, they're called the Wizards.
Yeah, and it's a stupid name.
It's a stupid name, and it's spelled Vizards in the manga for about 5 chapters, and then they changed the spelling to Wizards.
That's even worse.
Yes, it is.
I forgot that was a thing.
So they went from ripping off,
because I haven't read that in a long time.
They went from ripping off D&D to ripping off fantasy to ripping off Power Rangers.
Wizards to Wizards. I don't know if that's really ripping off. I think
Wizard and Zord.
But All right, shut up, Mike.
Anyway,
here.
by the way, so I was looking up the release dates. So the reason why I thought it was 36 that it ended on is because that's where I caught up, because it ends at volume 38 for Negima. And
Oh, okay.
yeah,
so
so
you're two
Negima
behind.
came out. The third issue or volume 38 came out on April 23rd, 2013. At the very least in English. So it's almost 9 years old.
You've had
now,
some time.
Wow.
which is that's fucking crazy to me.
Well, guess what? Why don't you go read it right now?
What?
The rest of Negima.
No,
See
no,
how
no.
it
Rest of
ends.
Negima.
I know.
right
I've
now.
read it. I was saying I thought it ended on 36 because that's where I caught up, and I thought in my brain I was like, oh, it must have ended at volume 36. But I caught up on volume 36 and had to wait for 37 and 38.
Oh, so you ended
Yeah,
up
yeah.
reading all of it.
Yeah,
each
I was
section
just
of-
incorrect at where I thought I caught up.
I'm
Gotcha.
picking up what you're putting down. I understand.
But no. I read it. I remember exactly how it ends, and it feels like slightly an ass pull, but it also doesn't. And I remember feeling, yeah.
Oh, love those.
Do you guys even give a shit?
About
I was-
Negima?
I was at one point like, maybe I'll read this, but
If
I really don't think I will.
I was never interested in it, but you can go ahead and say what you want to say.
I mean, Colin, if you want to read them, go for it. I'll have them placed. But anyway,
I'm not
so
gonna. I'm not
spoilers
gonna.
for a fucking 9-year-old manga now. Yeah,
9-year-old ending.
So, all right. So the main girl, right? She has like this power that is very necessary for like saving the world, basically. And the only way
Okay.
that everything can work is if that she basically resigns herself to going into like this cocoon for 100 years, and like everybody that she knows
As you do.
will die because they're all regular humans, and so it's either, hey, everyone you know and love will be dead if you do this, but if you don't do this, everyone will die anyway. So. Or like the world won't be as good, something like that, and so she's like, all right, well, clearly I have to do this. So tearful goodbye. She goes into the fucking cocoon thing. 100 years later, and it skips ahead, or 1,000 years. I think it might have been 1,000 years. Skips ahead, and she like wakes up, and the vampire character, who looks like a lolly, because as they do. Is there when
Naturally.
she wakes up, and like she's looking around, she's fucking like disoriented, she's crying, all her friends and family are fucking dead, have been for generations, but she like sees the world that they created, and that like they made the world a better place, and the vampire's like, yeah, some shit happened, stuff was alright, anyway, I want you to know that Negi figured out a way to fix all this shit. You still spent your 1,000 years here, but we can send you back to the past. So
Jesus Christ.
basically, yeah. So she spent the
Useless.
1,000 years in the thing, which means that she succeeded in the thing, but then she gets sent back, or
you
it's
said it was
1,000 or
100.
100. It's a lot. I don't remember exactly. I know,
difference, but okay.
but it's been fucking 9 years. What do you want from me? So basically, she spends the years to get
Perfection.
set back, and so then she gets sent back, and then she's still asleep in the hibernation fucking cocoon thing, but also gets to live out the rest of her life with all the people that she loves. And I'm pretty sure her and Negi get married. I think she's the winner.
Well, that sucks. All right,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how that goes. I can't wait to be corrected by somebody and be like, no, that's not exactly how it goes. And I'll be like, all right, well, fucking excuse me.
Yeah, everyone blast off, correct him that he's wrong.
Everybody just tell Mike he's wrong. I don't care if you've read this or seen it or what. Just
Notica
tell him
is
he's
best
wrong.
girl, though, and I will stand by that, and I don't care what anyone says. Yeah.
She's
She
that
is
shy one.
probably wrong about that.
It's definitely not the main girl, because she's the fucking tsundere, and I ain't about it.
Anti-shit,
Get off
right?
her.
But yeah, so that's what I've been reading, and then or what I plan on going back to read, and like I said, I'm going through Rosario Vampire slowly.
Good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still reading Hikaru no Go, and I don't know if either of you have ever
No,
read
it's the
it,
one about
but
Go,
it's
right?
on
You were
Shonen
telling us
Jump.
about this a little bit.
No.
Yeah, it is. So I think personally, I think it's really well paced, and like, you might think that like watching people play a literal board game would be really boring, but it's so entertaining because they're all so intense about it. They like have such a passion and drive to like become better and like truly learn the
Like Pong the
skills, you know?
animation.
Yeah, like shonen.
Right, but you know what I mean? Like it's really great because it starts off with like the main character Hikaru. He's just like he doesn't really give a shit. And he's just kind of like a piece of shit kid, and like he just kind of fucks around. And at first, like he's winning because the spirit that was trapped inside his grandfather's Go board like gets comes out of it when he finds
Hold
the
up, there was a
board.
spirit inside the
And-
fucking board.
Yeah, because
Of course there was, Mike.
Because his grandfather's Go board was the spirit's
Of course.
board.
Yeah,
You got it.
naturally.
So at first, like, Hikaru was doing really good because the spirit's just telling him how to play. But then he's like, no, like, I want to learn to play for myself. I think I could be good on my own. So of course he, like, starts playing, like, absolute garbage because he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. But, like, watching him progress and then, like, you meet his rival who is also, you know, like, fucking 14 because you gotta.
Yeah.
But what I love about the rival is he's honestly such a wholesome dude. He just wants to play his board game. He wants to have like a super fair fight. He just wants like this super wholesome battle of the wits, no animosity, like no ulterior motive type deal. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's great. It's so well written, so well paced. Like, every single game is so intense, even though it's basically guys just putting little pieces on the board, you know. But I think it's good. And I also always find it funny when they have these like really like dramatic like action lines for them putting the pieces down.
Well, you are a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, so how could you not?
No, yeah, it's incredible.
Oh,
It's like a much less stupid version of Yu-Gi-Oh, I would say.
All
all
right.
right. Well,
I
do
can
we
dig
have any
that.
closing thoughts before we end out this episode?
I think what Mike sent us is cursed. Nobody look it up. It's not worth your
It's-
time, I promise you. It's 19
Yeah.
pages.
No, it's
you
19
don't
pages
need.
everybody needs.
It's
Ugh.
no, it's really just a dumb shit post, and you're better off without it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you do look at it, just do the quick once over. You don't need to read it. You don't need to like think about it, and then you can just forget it exists.
You look through it, you say, "Yep, that exists," and then you go away, and then you leave.
Yeah, and then you can just burn your phone or your laptop or whatever it is you're looking on it.
And you're done.
And then that's it. That's it. You never
And
have
then
to
it
think about
just
it again.
and then as it just sort of ends. All right, so just cut there. Don't
Yeah,
say anything else. Just cut there and play the It's Always Sunny in
All right.
Philadelphia.
Well,
and
with that note, thanks for watching and listening to this week's episode. Like we said, hopefully the last audio only, and hopefully next episode 39 will be in person again. Hopefully.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Streaming us, don't forget to like, leave a review, follow. Don't forget to check out Anthony at Super Milkshake on YouTube, Kat at Kat the Moonstar on Twitch. We're watching the first and second Ghost in the Shell movies for episode 40 Anime Club, so you got 2 more weeks. And yeah, that should be everything. So, if everything works and goes according to plan, we will see you guys in our new studio.
Yay. New
Yeah.
studio.
It may not look all that fancy when we get the next episode out, but hey, it might. Probably won't.
It's gonna be
probably.
just studs. There's not even a wall.
Yeah, just studs because it's me. Because I'll.
So yeah, thanks for watching and listening, and we will see you guys next week.